IRT Third Avenue Line. The IRT Third Avenue Line, commonly known as the Third Avenue Elevated, originally operated by the New York Elevated Railway, an independent railway company. It was acquired by the Interborough Rapid Transit Company (IRT) and eventually became part of the New York City subway system. The first segment of the line, with service at most stations, opened from South Ferry to Grand Central Depot on August 26, 1878. Service was extended to Harlem in Manhattan on December 30. In 1881, this line already began the 24/7 service. Service in Manhattan was phased out in the early 1950s and closed completely on May 12, 1955. The remaining service in the Bronx was designated as part of the 8 route until it was discontinued on April 29, 1973. The Third Avenue L was the last elevated line to operate in Manhattan, other than the one train on the IRT Broadway 7th Avenue line, which has elevated sections between 122nd and 135th Streets and north of Dickman Street, and was a frequent backdrop for movies. Service on the 2nd, 6th, and 9th Avenue elevated lines were terminated in 1942, 1938, and 1940, respectively. History. Operation. In 1875. At that time, the company already operated the 9th Avenue Elevated, which it acquired in 1871 after the bankruptcy of the West Side and Yonkers Patent Railway. The Third Avenue L opened in 1878, running from South Ferry to 129th Street. The Manhattan Railway Company took control of the New York Elevated Railroad in 1879. In 1886, the Suburban Rapid Transit Company commenced operations with a railway line over the Harlem River via a double-decked swing bridge located between the Third Avenue Bridge and Willys Avenue Bridge, with the upper deck carrying the Expro. The lower won the local tracks and a pedestrian walkway from the Manhattan Railway's northern terminal at 129. The Manhattan Railway assumed operations of the Suburban in 1891 as an extension of the Third Avenue line, and through service between the Bronx and Manhattan began in 1896. A 999-year lease of the Manhattan Railway was brokered by the Interborough Rapid Transit Company in 1902. For which rapid transit services in the Bronx, of which the Third Avenue line was a part, would eventually be coordinated alongside the new subway. Around this time, the line was electrified. As part of the Jewel contracts, this line was triple-tracked. The project, which caused minimal disruption to the line itself while works were ongoing, allowed for weekday peak direction express service and increased train capacity on the line. For New York City's transportation system, the project was a more important engineering feat than the building of the Panama Canal, according to the IRT. The center track of the Bronx portion opened on January 17, 1916. In Manhattan, it was opened on July 9, 1917. As of 1934, the following services were being operated: Third Avenue local South Ferry to 129th Street weekdays and Saturdays day and evenings, South Ferry to Bronx Park Sundays day and evenings, also between City Hall and Bronx Park weekdays AM and PM peak, also Saturdays AM peak. During late nights, a shuttle was operated between South Ferry and Canal Street, connecting with trains from City Hall to Bronx Park. Third Avenue through Express City Hall to 241st St. via White Plains Road line weekday and Saturday AM peak northbound and weekday PM peak southbound, using the Center Express track south of Tremont Avenue. All other hours, a shuttle operated between 241st Street and Fordham Road. Third Avenue local Express City Hall to Bronx Park weekdays and Saturdays day and evening, using the Center Express track south of 129th Street southbound until noon and northbound afternoon through evening. Trains running in the opposite direction made all local stops. In December 1937, some weekday midday and evening, Saturday midday through evening local expresses, and all Sunday and late-night locals were extended to 241st Street, replacing shuttles except northbound in the AM peak and southbound in the PM peak. In 1943, Sunday evening local trains were rerouted to City Hall, with shuttles from Canal Street running to South Ferry. On November 5, 1946, service to Freeman Street was stopped, and all weekday and Saturday morning peak locals were routed to South Ferry. In 1947, Saturday service was further reduced. 129th Street local trains were eliminated, as were morning peak through expresses, which were changed to local expresses. Saturday midday and evening local expresses ran from South Ferry or City Hall to Tremont Avenue 177th Street, and locals from South Ferry or City Hall to Bronx Park. On April 22, 1950, Saturday morning local expresses were converted to locals. On April 30, 1950, all Sunday locals were routed to South Ferry with a shuttle connection from Canal Street to City Hall. However, on December 22, the line from Chatham Square to South Ferry was closed, with all trains running to City Hall except weekday peak locals that ended at Chatham Square. In addition, weekday peak service north of Gun Hill Road was eliminated, as were weekday locals to 129th Street. On March 14, 1952, service south of 149th Street was reduced to weekday daytime only, with Gun Hill Road to 149th Street locals at other times. On May 29, 1952, weekday midday local expresses were eliminated. On June 26, 1952, through expresses were cut back to Gun Hill Road. On November 21, 1952, morning rush hour locals were cut back from Chatham Square to Canal Street, and PM rush hour locals were cut back from Fordham Road to 125th Street. However, this resulted in severe overcrowding, so local service to Fordham Road in the PM peak direction was resumed on December 3, 1952. On December 31, 1953, the Chatham Square to City Hall portion of the line was closed. Service then consisted of local trains from Tremont Avenue or 129th Street and Canal Street in the weekday morning peak, Gun Hill Road and Chatham Square midday, and Chatham Square and 129th Street or Tremont Avenue in the PM peak. Local expresses and through expresses operated between Gun Hill Road and Chatham Square southbound in the AM and northbound in the PM peak hours. Evening, all night, and weekend service was Gun Hill Road to 149th Street locals. When the L was closed in Manhattan in 1955, the East Side was left with the overcrowded IRT Lexington Avenue line as the only subway east of Fifth Avenue. Closures. Station listing. Notes and references.